Hey, Gaybros Blake.
Hey, Gabriel Jose.
Where are we today? Is today the day that your New Year resolution has come to happen?
I was actually thinking that we need to have that conversation before we record. Anyway, but to answer your question now, same spot. At the very least, it's not raining in San Francisco anymore, so we've got that.
Yeah, I think that this podcast is probably going to come like in February.
Yeah, early January there was rain, guys. Early January.
Oh, but probably on February it's already going to be. It's like we're in the middle of a drought.
Yes.
That's like the magic of California. Yeah. And yeah, sorry, I forgot to ask you. Is that you guys were fine, no damages or anything?
No, I mean, luckily we have concrete floors. There was some leakage, but all we had to do was dry out some carpets, so everything was fine.
Okay. Oh, no, that's good. Glad to hear. Yeah, we didn't have like any more cold, not even snow. It rained a bit here, but it's just been like a very weird winter so far in Chicago, even warmer than last year. So let's see how it goes. But as we are not David Lynch, we don't have to do like a weather report of where we live. Maybe it's like the time for, as he actually finishes this, it's the time for us to just take the mantle.
Well, we do it pretty effectively every week, at least for San Francisco and Chicago.
That's true. But in any case, what did we watch this time?
This was your pick, and I can't remember why you picked it, so I'll ask you in a second. But we watched the 2011 Iranian drama written and directed by Asghar Farhadi, A Separation. And as I recall, this was nominated for an Oscar if it didn't win.
I think so. I think that it was nominated. I don't know who won actually that year. But the reason why I picked it, I'm not completely sure how I connected the dots. But I was like just reading about thrillers, mysteries after we watched Knives Out and Edward Norton's Knives Out, that this was a good thriller. And from my perspective, after watching a couple of Asghar Farhadi movies, A Hero and The Salesman, I was like, yeah, I'm not sure how he can actually do a mystery, or a thriller kind of thing. I was just a bit more like wondering about like how this would play out. So that's what I was curious, because I really like the other two movies that I mentioned, and I think that you told me that you have watched this in the past and you liked it.
Yes, I watched it a long time ago, and I'm smiling and laughing because as I was preparing to watch A Separation, I accidentally watched A Hero.
But did you watch the whole thing?
Of A Hero? No. Only the first hour, but I did watch all of A Separation.
Okay, good. That's good. You have been like hilarious that I was the first hour of A Hero, and then I was like this. But it was the second hour of A Separation, so we're going to be like doing a mix and match. But yeah, as this was my pick, and I already say why did I pick it, I guess that is your turn for just summarize what this movie is about.
Yeah, you're gonna have to help me.
Sure.
But Nadir and Simin are a married couple in Iran, and they have an 11-year-old daughter named Terma. And the film starts out with the husband and wife sitting next to each other before a judge, and she's the mother, Simin, is asking for divorce. And when asked for a reason, there's no other reason. In fact, she says he's a good man, but she wants to move abroad.
No, yes, it was to move abroad. Yeah, sorry.
I was like, damn it, I messed up already. But the court decides that is not enough reason for a divorce, which, to be honest, is kind of fair. I was like, yeah, people should be able to do what they want, but I was like, yeah, that's not really a reason for a divorce.
No, I mean the problem here is that it's a bit more. Most of his movies are usually about like the Iranian culture, and it's like in any other country you can go, like to court and say like I want to get divorced. Like an amicable separation, and it's like they just let you.
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, it's not any government's job to enforce religious or moral. I totally understand. But I was like, okay, because even the judge or whoever they're in front of is like, does he do drugs? Does he drink? Does he hit you? Does he not give you money? Like, no, he just doesn't want to move.
Yep. The guy prefers to stay here, like taking care of his senile father.
Yes. So the dad, he's like, I'm not moving abroad. I need to take care of my dad. He has Alzheimer's. So the court says no to the divorce, and so Simon has to stay, but she moves in with her parents, and their daughter decides to stay with the father. So the father hires. So we should say that Nadir and Simon, they're very secular. They don't really believe in whatever. So he hires a very religious woman to take care of his father during the daytime. And let's see, am I forgetting anything? One day, Nadir comes home earlier than is expected, and he finds his father tied to his bed, and he's unconscious. And the religious woman, her name is Razia. Razia. I'm sorry, I'm butchering the names. Anyway,
No. I think that is fine. I don't remember many of the names, so
I'm gonna say Razia. So Razia has tied up the father. Obviously, Nadir is furious. She comes home and she's like, oh, I've never done this before, but he was gonna nap anyway, and I really had to go do something. And they get into a bit of an altercation, and he pushes her, and she falls down the stairs and has a miscarriage.
That's what we are being said.
Yes. It's an ambiguous scene. We don't know exactly what happens. We all make presumptions, but whatever.
We allow like our prejudice to actually fill up the gaps.
Yes, we do. We project our own bullshit on this. So then there's a bunch of back and forth in court. She's saying that if Nadir, she says that he knew she was pregnant, and so that him pushing her, which she said he did, amounts to murder. And he said, I never knew that she was pregnant. And this came out 12 years ago, so we're just gonna spoiler alert. He did know, but he was trying to protect, he says, himself from jail time, who was going to take care of the daughter, blah, blah, blah.
Who would take care, actually, of the father?
Of the father as well.
Yeah, I mean, if he goes to jail, it's like, the wife was like pretty obvious. Simin is that she's pretty, adamant about like, just put it in a house. No one needs to take care of him. It's like she has like a very heartbreaking sentence, like quote at the beginning, when he's saying it's like, he doesn't even recognize you. Why do you want to take care of him? That is like heart-wrenching about like how both of the characters are like very grounded in reality, but no one is perfect on these movies. Is that there is no one that you can say is like, this person is right, everyone else around is wrong.
Yeah, they're very logical, but everyone is irrational sometimes, and they're irrational in their own ways, in my opinion. Yeah.
But yeah, basically, as you were saying, that's a good summary. There is like back and forth. There is like just like showing like a small tidbits of information. And I don't know if we want to give more about like the ending or not.
Why not? 12 years old. We can spoil this. It turns out the day before she was caught, or was it the day before? Anyway, shortly before the father was caught tied up, she had been hit by a car, and she was already in a lot of pain, and so she saw an opportunity. So, I mean, yes, you can blame her, but you also can't, and you can't blame the dad for trying to protect himself against someone he ended up needing to protect himself against.
Yeah, no, definitely. And everything like comes. I love that scene, like when they're in the house, when they're like with the whole family, and she cannot lie. I love that scene, like when it comes like to a resolution, when they're about like willing to pay money to this to the husband of the maid for us. So it's like, we pay you money, we just let it go, we just like close it here, and how everything starts like just falling apart, and how like Simin actually knew about that, but she didn't reveal it.
Yeah, we find out little by little. Well, it's a thriller, like you said. It's a whodunit, and we find out little by little what happened as well as who knows what, which is super entertaining. So, like, at some point, the Nadir is helping his daughter with her homework, and she's like, "Why did you say you didn't know this? Because if that was actually, you would have known this and this." And he just like,
damn.
Ignores it, but then he doesn't ignore it. He confronts himself, and well, his daughter has to confront him again, and he's like, "Okay, we'll go pay."
I actually, this movie did win the Oscar for best foreign movie.
It did, yeah.
But it was nominated for best screenplay that it didn't win. And I was watching this, my boyfriend. I'm going to be like just saying how I feel about this movie. I freaking love it, and I think that it has like one of the best scripts that I've seen. About like I was like in the edge of my seat, like just watching the whole thing, and it's like it's not like a fast-paced movie. It's not like a Quentin Tarantino, you know, like flashy razzle dazzle with the script. It's like this like super slow pace, but it's like all of the characters are like super well defined, are incredibly acted, and it's like you are given like these tidbits of information like progressing the story, but everything feels organic. It doesn't feel like in Knives Out that is like, hey, everything's like super crafted for being like a streamline. Every scene gives you a tiny bit more, that it almost feels like by the manual. Is that this feels like, no, life probably could be a bit closer to this.
So I totally hear what you're saying. I don't disagree. Would you agree that this reminds you at all of Steve McQueen's films?
Steve McQueen's has like a way more stage crafted style. He is willing to sacrifice naturality for impact of the end result. This guy wants to be like a slow
pacing and each scene giving away one bit of information. Like, I guess what I'm trying to say is I agree. I liked this film, but it deserves to be called out how slow it moves. And since I just watched A Hero, I think he has a very meditative approach to these complex issues, and he wants you to sit with the content, which is great in some situations and not so great in others.
I just realized right now, I mean, I knew this when we started watching it because we started like a bit late, but it didn't feel like 2 hours, dude. I agree that it's not like a fast-paced movie, but it's so well done, like so well thought, like the script, you know, and how, I don't know, like ambiguous everything is, even like to the resolution, that at the end we don't get like a resolution of the last scene. It's like, it's amazing. It's like, for me, it felt like 70 minutes.
That was a killer final scene, like killer.
Do you like when the credits are rolling and they're like just sitting there about like, oh, you're still waiting? Do you think that there's going to be like a mid-credit scene? Do you think that it's like a Marvel Cinematic Universe movie? It's like, you're not getting anything. It's like, because there is no like a good answer. It's like, it's so ambiguous that you are never going to get satisfied with whatever decision the daughter does.
Yeah, so just because we've spoiled everything else, the final scene is the court has granted the divorce, and they've asked the daughter of Nadir and Simon who she wants to live with, and the final scene is just watching Nadir and Simon wait outside of that office, and they just keep waiting, which is the best way to end a film, in my opinion, like the best, and it takes so much courage to ask somebody to pay for a film that ends that way.
I mean, you are giving an answer to the main mystery of the movie. That is like, at the end, spoiler alert, he didn't cause the abortion. I mean, he still lied and he will go to hell or whatever, you know, but...
Will he? Because he lied so that justice was served. She also lied, and he was just lying to protect himself. I mean, it doesn't matter. Like, you can answer these questions, but it's not like there are certain answers to them. And that's the whole point, is like, hey, everything is gray. Everything. And you think you know better, you think you can judge one of these people, you can't.
But isn't it refreshing to actually, albeit this is like 11 years old, but it's like most of his movies plays with that.
Yeah.
About like just characters
not black
Yeah.
and white.
Yeah, it's characters that they are like morally solid, as you will understand, even like in the Western world, but they are like in the situation, in the reality of a country that it can push them over the fence and just doing stuff that it doesn't fit what moral image do they have of themselves. And I find it amazing, honestly. They are like draining movies to watch, because half through the movie I was telling my boyfriend, he's like, many people's lives are going to be destroyed at the end of this movie, or everyone's. That basically is what happens. Everyone's lives get destroyed.
Yeah, it's definitely not a happy ending for anyone. Really.
Nope. But it's almost like a part of thinking of like the reality of that country, of Iran.
And this is why I think I have some hesitations when it comes to the film, because I don't know that much about Iran. And I know this is a very bad film to compare it to, but you remember that Brazilian film where we're like, we must have missed a lot culturally. It's not the exact same case, but I feel like with this director, and because I watched A Hero, and we recently watched The Salesman.
No, we didn't. No, The Salesman, I watched it on the cinema, like when it was released, like what, 5 years ago?
Well, regardless, I've seen 3 of his films within the last few years, and I feel like there's just this little bit of connection that is provided by the foundation of understanding Iranian modern culture that I'm missing for this to be a home run for me. And that's not to say it's a problem with the film. I'm just saying I felt a little bit disconnected because it's such a foreign world.
But I still think, I don't disagree with you. I think that there is like a lot about like the culture of the country, and I thought that I could actually like just having watched A Hero, like half of A Hero, and then jump into this one, at least like the setting of the country would be easier to appreciate.
I actually was going to bring up a couple complaints I have with the first hour of
A Hero.
Of A Hero, and I was like, damn it, no. Second movie I watched.
Yeah. I watched A Hero, I think that it was, when was it released? Like last year? 2 years ago?
I think it was 2021.
Okay. Yeah, I watched it. I didn't like it as much as A Separation or The Salesman, because, well, we don't have to get to that one. But I think that this is not as bad as Bacurau.
Yeah, Bacurau.
Yeah, because that one was like just displaying like a sci-fi setting, like making like some references to the present world in some kind of indirect way. This, I had the feeling that it's a bit more grounded in reality, and they even give you like some explanation. They almost look at the camera and says like, she's very religious, and she even called like to the religious hotline. It almost sounds like there is like some kind of "Am I going to hell" hotline. They say, "Hey, I'm working for this family, and I need to wash this guy. There is no man in the room. He's senile. Is this a scene?"
But see, that's like a perfect example. Is I don't have any context for that hotline besides like I'm thinking of the morality police that are so under fire. Didn't they just get rid of them? Yeah, for the first time ever, because of the protests happening there. So I don't understand the intended impact of little things like that.
But I mean, you can understand the reality that they are presenting to you. It's not that you are like missing a point. It's that you are just understanding that for her, it's important to do the right thing for their religion. And
yes, I agree. Overall, I got the big picture stuff out of this.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, I'm guessing there's an extra layer that would have made this like perfect 10 for me. Just kidding. There's only one La Ventura, but maybe this was a 9 or 9.5 for me. There's just that one piece I think is missing.
All right, you already gave a 10 also to In the Mood for Love. Just saying.
Such a good movie.
Yeah, and that one also has like quite a bit of Chinese reality to it.
Yeah.
But yeah, honestly, I was mind blown. It was like this blew up my expectations out of the water.
So obviously I didn't like this film as much as you, even though I liked it. when you finish this, were you like, I really want to check out some of this guy's other movies?
Oh yeah.
Really?
But the thing is, like, this was like the third movie that I watched by him. And at that point, it was like, dude, I already know, for better or worse, this guy has a style. This guy has like a story, a type of a story that he likes to tell.
That's true.
I don't think, it's not even like, I don't know, like Haneke, for example, that is like, hey, this guy is going to be like making me think about like humanity, about like how bad we are, inherently how bad we are. No, this guy has a style, a story that is a, hey, I want you to just put like these characters in a very small story and just push them over the fence. And just make holding a mirror to the Iranian reality. And he said, yeah, that's great. I think that is an amazing storyteller, but it's of that story.
Yes, I don't disagree with you. And then I want to add, maybe I would have a better understanding of why he's so interested in exploring moral ambiguity if I better understood the political context of Iran. Does that make sense?
It makes sense. Did you watch Persepolis?
I did not. There was something about that movie that I was like, I will not be watching.
Why, dude? Because it's animated?
I think it's because, isn't the main character like a 12 or 13-year-old girl?
Well, it's a bit more about like a girl on her 20s. I think that was it. That is reflecting about growing up in Iran and how it transitioned into an Islamic country.
Yeah, I think I shied away from that because, one, I don't like movies about war, and two, I can't stand movies that are led by child characters.
But it is an
I'm not saying it's right. I'm just saying I avoided that movie for specific reasons. I made snap judgments. These were the judgments.
Do you like Atonement? And it's a movie about war, staring at a child.
Atonement.
Okay, that's fair. Sorry for underselling Atonement.
No, but see, that's a good example because Saoirse Ronan, she plays a pivotal character. But if we had to follow 12-year-old Saoirse Ronan for the whole movie, I would have been like, fuck you, Ian McEwan, or he wrote the book.
Yeah.
Joe Wright.
Yeah, you're right. But we do follow Saoirse Ronan.
We follow that character, not as a child. Okay. She's a child for like 10 minutes in that film.
Tiny bit more. Yeah, they grew up. Okay, yeah.
You didn't see the new Avatar, right?
No.
My biggest complaint about the new Avatar, well, I was high when I watched it, so I had a few complaints, was that the stupid, like, I don't want to watch teenagers. Teenagers are stupid and incapable and not good at life. Putting them front and center in a film to make, like, adult decisions, no.
That's your biggest complaint about Avatar.
Because I was high. If I had been a little more grounded, I'm guessing I'd have some more critical analysis to offer.
Probably. I mean, more deeper thoughts to it. About like reflecting about it. Okay. No, I may still force you to watch Persepolis at some point.
That's fine. Like I said, I'm not against it. I know it's a good film. It's just I never watched it. But isn't that about Lebanon?
About what?
This was Iranian?
Yeah, it's Iran. Yeah, so I don't know if it's going to be like changing your perspective about and giving you like more background, but I don't know, that one is like a bit like eye-opener about like how it has to be like just living in a reality that is that, hey, you actually were born into this reality with these values, and basically from one day to the next when you're a teenager, it's like all of them disappear. It has been like reinvented into a very serious situation for you, teenager girl.
Interesting. Well, now I want to watch it.
Yeah, and it's like a bit more about like how I understand that she's like an English teacher, like the wife here.
Simon,
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So being an English teacher is like probably she's a bit more exposed to actually what other like realities, like cultural realities, are out there.
Does it ever mention? I didn't catch it if they did. Where she wants to go?
I think that she only says about abroad.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, and I think that that's like just left. How do you say ambiguous on purpose? About like, hey, she only wants to run away because she knows that her daughter will have a better life by living somewhere else than there in Iran.
See, this is a good. They could have made this film more timely if they said, "Hey, we really want to move to, I don't know, Monaco because Russia is invading Ukraine," and
what would be the value of that, dude?
or the morality, or all the protests that have been happening in the last year. But instead, they just make it about bigger issues. It's not about where she wants to move. It's about a discontent in a relationship.
Yeah, a discontent in the relationship, and how, because of the reality that they have there, is that they cannot argument. Is that that's not enough reason for actually having a divorce, because they could actually, in any other country, they could actually say that it's like, okay, that's fair. We will grant you the divorce, and then we will talk about custody. And at that point, it's like you may actually argument. It's like, hey, I want to keep the custody and just move into another country, and they're going to be saying, it's like that may not happen. Yeah. So even like from that perspective, is like it may not be like that culturally based. It's more like she wants to break apart completely. She's asking a lot from him to begin with.
But he asked a lot of her too. She didn't want to care for his dad.
Yeah. I mean, that's absolutely correct. But there is no clear answer. There is no clean cut. And it's pretty hard to take sides on that. It's like you may have like a parent that it goes like through this, and you may try to empathize with that perspective, or maybe not. And that's like what I like. It's like, depending on the scene, I was like, oh my God, that person is a complete asshole. And then on the next one, it's like, well,
oh, I understand him and his motivation.
Yeah, are they so bad? No, the only one that I think that is an asshole from the beginning to the end is the husband of the maid.
Oh yeah, that guy's just a psychopath.
Yeah, that guy is just like coming in and out of jail. He's just
violent.
Yeah, and he's like the one that makes you like the maid way less. It's a bit more. It's harder to cheer for her because of the husband.
Which is sad because she's a victim in that situation as well, but
yeah, I love this scene. That was like one of the first times that I was like, oh my God, what a twist. That's when the teacher, she gets questioned and she talks with the daughter of the maid, and he's like, so how do they get along, your parents? Then she starts like just planting the seed about like, oh my God.
Yeah, Simon was the MVP of this. She just like took care of business.
Sorry, who?
Simon, the mom.
Oh no, but I don't mean the mom. I mean the teacher, not the mom, like the teacher of the teenager daughter.
Oh.
Yeah. How like, in a very friendly way, goes and say like, so does your father hit your mother? Do they get when it's like, not anymore? And it's like, oh.
Yeah, it's a good movie. It is a good movie.
Yeah, it has been a while since I've seen something that the script shouldn't work this well, but it does.
Probably sounds like Mother.
For the audience, that's a pause. There has
it
been a
shouldn't
silence.
work, but it does. I don't know why it does.
It doesn't, dude. Did you watch it again?
No.
Since that fatidic night.
When I told my husband, I was like, oh, I need to tell Jose I watched The Whale. He's like, oh, did Jose watch it? And I was like,
probably not. No.
It's my fault. I made him see
No, you already knew how I felt about Aronofsky. And it's like
I
that.
really thought he was going to prove you wrong. I really did. That one's on me.
Yeah, no, he proved me right. He did like his best effort of proving me right. Is the whale better than Mother?
There are better things about it. It's still messy as fuck. Like going into it, I was like, well, I might have to ask Jose to watch this for the podcast. And then after I watched it, I was like, no, I'm just gonna let him watch this on a plane or something.
Yeah. I think that after the previous one, I don't think that you want me to watch like another Aronofsky movie.
I did say in the same conversation to my husband that I'm going to make you watch Pi.
Pi, okay. I don't know, Pi. I didn't dislike it when I watched it.
Oh, you saw it?
Yeah, I saw it.
For some reason, I thought you hadn't.
No,
That's nice.
I think that I watched Pi and Following like almost back to back. About like these are cool directors nowadays. Let's see where they started.
Interesting.
And both of them started at a very Lynchian spot, if I recall correctly.
It's been so long since I've seen Pi, but I'm guessing that guy's in his apartment doing math.
Yeah, and he goes insane. He started having hallucinations, if I recall correctly. Yeah, I mean, I remember like saying this, like that was cool. I like it more than Requiem for a Dream.
I watched the trailer recently, and I was like, "This seems like the fake movie in Exit Through the Gift Shop." It's like hyper frenetic. It's like no real director would have made this.
That's fair. That's fair. No, I'm not like a weirdo. I think that my favorite Aronofsky movie is The Fountain.
It's not Requiem for a Dream.
It's not. It's, and you know why.
Jennifer Connelly, ass to ass.
That part was good, but you know why? It's Jennifer Connelly in the shower, in the bathtub.
Do you remember? Yeah, no, I know.
Yeah. Perfect Blue.
Perfect Blue. Yeah. I don't know if you remember the actor that makes Jennifer Connelly go down on him, but it's like this completely demoralizing moment. And then he hosts the sex party and has all the guys watch. That guy popped up in a movie or a sitcom recently, like a comedy, and I had this like emotional reaction. I was like, he's a bad man. Laughing at his jokes.
That's funny. I'm watching with my boyfriend. We're watching The White Lotus. And we are actually watching like the like the featurettes that they have after the episodes on HBO, that they do like interviews with everyone, and everyone is talking about like, well, my character does this and blah blah blah, except the wife of the rich guy, that she actually talks about the character as I do this.
Steve Zahn.
The what?
Steve Zahn.
Steve Zahn is the husband
of the drug teenager daughter.
No. This is like the young girl that is just in the honeymoon.
Oh, yeah. The guy from The Office.
Yeah, the one that used to be an intern in The Office. Like, oh god, well, I guess the time has passed. Yeah.
I can't wait. We should do some podcasts about White Lotus season 1 and season 2.
I could be down. I mean, we're almost done watching the first season. It's like, it's fine. It's being enjoyable. It has been like, it starts weak and it improves like quite a bit as it gets, as it speeds up and like everything starts to unravel and fall apart. It becomes like more enjoyable. At the beginning, it's like, yeah, cool, rich people on vacation.
So A Separation. Good movie.
Yeah. Good movie. That's it. Good movie. Should we go about the questions before we start derailing into something else?
Or we can talk about Black Swan. It's up to you. You know how much I like that movie.
Well, I could tell you something. I was talking with someone at work the other day. And I don't know what we're talking about. I don't know if it was like about what did we watch. Oh yeah. What were we watching? I'm encouraging. I don't want to say like forcing, but I'm encouraging my boyfriend to watch an anime show called Death Note. I don't know if you ever heard. You know that I don't know. Maybe you saw that Netflix did like an American live action adaptation of it. That it was like one of the worst things that I ever seen in my life. Like completely whitewashed.
I know enough about the original from memes.
Yeah.
To do something, but I haven't seen it.
Yeah. So we were watching this. So I was telling someone at work about, oh yeah, I'm watching this with my boyfriend, blah blah blah. And he's like, oh, you should actually talk with this other person that his favorite movie ever is Millennium Actress.
Oh.
So I just talked with him, and we're going to be organizing like a viewing party the next time that we are there for everyone on the team, for educating everyone else on the team.
You have a lucky team.
I think that is better than making them watch Black Swan.
Oh, you take that back. I thought you were going to say it's better than an escape room. And I was like, okay, that's true.
No, I actually went back to check like the score. We never record about Millennium Actress.
Well, we should do that one day.
Yeah.
Episode 1000.
1000. Wow. You're like very forward looking. Yeah, that's good. Should we go over the questions now?
Let's do it.
So would you watch it again? Would you watch A Separation again?
Yeah, not soon. 5 years, yeah, sure.
5 years. Okay. I think that I will watch it again soon. Like probably in a year from now.
Okay.
Yeah. Would you recommend it?
Yes, it's a strong film in terms of like what we value in cinema. This is a good movie.
Yeah. Definitely, I would recommend it. I think that even to my parents, but I bet they would try to probably like just bring all of the Islamic stuff, trying to project it to Catholicism, and that would be interesting to watch with them.
Oh, I wonder if I projected my Mormon shit over this. Huh.
Oh,
interesting. Anyway,
yeah.
I didn't mean to. Yeah, there's nothing like offensive for parents, right? I don't even know what this is rated. It's probably a PG.
Well, we talk about losing a child, and the scenes with the father, they're a bit like heart-wrenching.
Yeah, but definitely not R.
Yeah, not definitely not R. Like PG-13? Is there like PG-7?
No, there's G, PG, which I would call 7, then PG.
Oh, okay. Okay. Would you remember it?
This I'm going to say no. I'll remember the film exists. I'll remember that I liked it. But in terms of plot details, it's going to leave. It's going to... No.
I was going to go with yes, but I was like trying to remember everything that happens in The Salesman. And I only remember like the guy is just like playing, is an actor that he plays Death of a Salesman, and then his wife, that they're like very progressist, gets like brutally raped at home because she opens the door to someone thinking that is him, that is his husband, and they live in this attic, like this weird attic, and then the rest of the movie is like basically like they not getting any justice and him hunting down who raped her.
So yes, you're right, and I remembered about a fourth of that. So until you said it, so it sounds like you will remember Separation, and I will remember very little.
Maybe you would actually remember like the first part of A Hero.
Yeah, don't you remember? It's about that guy that gets out of prison.
Yeah. He gets some money and no one knows where it comes from, but he does the right. Yeah. Is there anything artistic about it?
Yeah, I mean, the guy is so assured in his direction, but also he wrote it, which is mind-blowing. We always talk about how few directors should be writing their own films. This guy clearly should be. Yeah. I think the performances were incredible. Yeah, there's a tremendous amount of artistic about.
Yeah, for me it's like the script is impressive, like just playing, like dancing that dance on that morality line and just not falling to either side, like just leaving you all this time like wondering about like who is on the right having that kind of moral conundrum for nowadays audiences. I mean, it's true that we are not like the average audience, and I'm not like trying to sell ourselves as smarter or dumber or anything, but it just left me like super engaged to a point that I can only think about like a couple of directors that they can write like this, and all of them they make it like a bit more flashy and a bit more like Western audience.
Yeah, I was actually thinking, what sort of moral conundrum films can I think of? I can't think of anything specifically now, but I have this like gut feeling that this guy does moral ambiguity better than anyone else. Anybody else who does it may do it well, but not like this, where you're like, I can see everyone's perspective. Everyone's.
You're just an asshole about like just beating all of these people together. You know, it's almost like just you're tormenting them, but tormenting them not in a way like Haneke. You know, it's like, hey, you are tormenting them more because life. It feels like life. Haneke feels like a Deus Ex Machina kind of thing. It's like, I create these situations for torturing you, audience. And this guy's like, no, it's reality, it's life. It feels authentic.
I think Michael Haneke is, you do this to yourself. This guy is, this can happen to anyone despite your best intentions.
Yeah, exactly that. About like the road to hell is paved with good intentions.
Well done, yes.
Yeah. Is it a timeless piece?
Yes.
Why were you so energetic about it?
Because I called out that example earlier of ways they avoided rooting itself in a specific geopolitical moment in time, and they just choose not to. This is just about a relationship, several relationships, and it makes it timeless. This will be completely relevant in 100 years.
I hear you. For me, it's also timeless, but also at the same time, you were bringing up that this is very rooted on what the reality, the cultural reality of Iran is.
But a cultural identity can last for, in Iran's case, thousands of years. It's not like Iran has decided to start supplying microchips so that Russia can bomb Ukraine in 2023. You know what I mean?
Okay, that's fair. But if we actually think this movie takes place in Tehran, no?
Yes.
If we think about like the transition that they did, it was like in the 70s. It's true that we are like 40 years into it.
50.
Oh my God, it's like 50. Okay, it's 50 years into it, but at the same time, it's like it may change in the future, maybe not.
Yeah, it can. It's not like this is completely devoid of references to the real world. Those exist, but not like the Lost Boys did.
That it only lives for doing those references. Yeah. No, that's fair. I think that all of the elements of moral ambiguity that they're presented here, they could always be applicable.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Would you turn this into a TV show?
So my answer is going to be no. That being said, I think this could easily translate into a 6-episode miniseries, like easily.
Yeah, I was going to say my answer is yes. I would turn it into a TV show, but it's a TV show that I wouldn't watch because
that's my answer. Yes.
His movies are like so emotionally draining that is like I'm having a hard time like just thinking about like, oh, next Tuesday I have to sit down and just watch 1 more hour of someone like getting their convictions like challenged and just betraying themselves. It's like, I'm good. I already have life. I already have a job. I already like just, I'm morally prostitute already as it is for actually having to enjoy this as a kind of recurring event.
Yeah, life exhausts me enough. I don't need to like entertain myself with that same exhaustion.
Can you think of directors that watching their stuff is draining?
Michael Haneke is always draining for me. Always. It takes a fuck ton of energy for me to get through a Spielberg film.
But that's different because you don't like it. It's because another reason.
Draining, I would say Bellatar, that one film we watched, that's draining as fuck. draining? That's a good question. I feel like the answer is yes, there are more, but I can't.
Who directed Weeds?
Mike Lee. Not all of his stuff. That's not draining. That's edifying. That's
No. Weeds.
Yeah, that was
Like,
Mike
they-
Lee.
No, it was Mike Nichols.
Oh, so sorry. I did know that. The same guy that did Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf and Closer.
And The Graduate.
And The Graduate. Ooh.
We never watched The Graduate.
I think we did. Just no. I remember when I watched it. I watched it as a separate project from you.
Separate. Oh, sorry that you had like a previous life before.
I have other interests, Jose.
That's fair. Yeah, I don't think that I could actually like qualify like the movies that I know of him, like all of the. Well, Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf is a bit draining.
I get, maybe it's because of my dysfunctional childhood, but like I get energy from those fights. The louder she yells, the meaner she is. I'm like, fuck yeah.
Oh, it just hit me harder. And Closer is fairly draining, seeing how they destroyed their life.
Closer was, yeah, as when Alice finally goes through passport control, I'm like, I'm done with these people.
Yeah, Closer, I don't know if I cannot remember if I like Closer or not. But in any case, this director, like director from a separation, Asghar Farhadi, that I would never remember the name from the top of my head, is like systemically draining. Systemically good and systemically draining. Systemically like, God, they're going to keep suffering. It's like, this is not like a runtime that is like, oh, for the third act things get better. It's like, no, you know that they're only going to be like getting worse and worse. At the end, no one is happy.
Yeah, I mean, yes.
So imagine like just waiting for 6 weeks for a resolution that you already know that is like no one is going to be happy.
That's actually kind of my jam. I just wish they were a little wealthier. Like if this were upper middle class Western world and they were so sad, I'd be like, yes, let me masturbate. While I watch the beautiful sad rich people.
Basically, you want little children.
Yep. Or the ice store.
Oh God, I have forgotten about that movie. Could this have been a short?
No. In fact, when we were talking about would we remember the details of the plot, I thought my answer is no, because this is a lot less about what happens and more about like moral questions.
Yeah.
Right? Sorry, what was the question?
This could have been a short.
Oh, so that's what I was trying to say, is that like the power of this is kind of sitting with these characters who are also thinking about these situations and the complexity of everyone's interactions. So no, like you have to sit through 2 hours. Maybe it could be 90 minutes, but it could not be a short.
Yeah, no, I agree. As I was telling you, like for me, it didn't feel like 2 hours. So I don't think that there is like too much fat in this movie.
Yeah,
you know,
agreed.
As you're saying, it's a bit more about like just digging deeper into this character and just keep pushing them until they cross the line, until they go to, hey, for me to actually get out of this, I'm willing and actually like just like trying to save my family and going to pay. That is implicitly saying that I'm at fault when I think that I'm not at fault. Is like he's betraying himself at the end, but he's willing to do that. And that's like the part that felt like a bit like heartbreaking. That is that, oh, and you folks still go through the divorce at the end instead of bringing you closer together.
I mean, I see what you're saying. Yes, I think the situation underscored the problems in their marriage, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think that this movie could have been better?
If it had come with like the top 10 things you should know about your mom as an insert in the Blu-ray. Thank you.
That was really well played. As we were talking about David Lynch before I start recording, that was like one of the most condescending things that David Lynch ever. I don't know if it was his decision or it was like the studio, but you open like the Mulholland Drive like DVD case and there is like a paper. You lent me that DVD, I think.
I did, yeah.
And you kept a note about like key things for understanding what is going on in this movie.
They didn't help. Spoiler alert.
I think that, sure, yeah. They were not perfect because that movie takes a bit.
So the real answer to that question is no, there's nothing I can point out that's a glaring issue. It's a good movie, and I liked it.
It almost sounds like pulling teeth right now. I'm like, yeah, it's fine. I guess that is good. If I had to
There's something about this film that I'm like reluctant to admit that I liked it, and I don't know why. I'm trying to blame it on cultural like unfamiliarity or what. I just have reservations, and I don't know why.
Well, maybe it was because for you it didn't last 2 hours. It lasted 3 because you watched 1 hour of a hero before that.
Like the first act didn't make any sense. It didn't connect to the last thing.
And albeit I really, really like this movie, if I had watched 1 more hour of another movie before this one, I would be like, dude, fuck off. I'm done. Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, I'm surprised about that. I thought that it was going to be like an slam dunk for both of us, as I was like just like swallowed this like completely about like, oh yeah, we're going to start watching like at 11 p.m. and that was like a risky move, you know. And it was like a point I was like, oh my god, it's already like midnight. This is going to end up like super late. And then it was like pulling like closer and closer to the TV about like, oh my god, did they actually happen this? Yeah. So. So
your answer to the question was no?
Oh yeah, it's definitely no. I don't think that there is anything for telling this story that he could have done better.
Yeah, he's very good at telling the story he wants to tell.
Yeah.
Very, very good.
Yeah, and the characters are like so well crafted. And you know, it doesn't feel like a single tone or a single note. And it's not, I think that we discussed this for Knives Out. That is that, hey, characters, they feel like fleshed out. And it's like, yeah, that's true. Is that they're fleshed out for what they are, you know? But in this case, it's like all of them, they feel real. There is like a reality here that is pretty hard
that this
to
could
see.
easily be a documentary.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. There's this like extra ultra realistic flavor to this.
Yeah. And
you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, definitely. And I don't know if this is not like a getting into the Italian neorealism. You know, this is not the bicycle thief or anything like that. But I don't know. It feels like pretty harmful. You know, about like what it's trying to display. It feels almost like a theater piece, like just playing in front of you, but even like more real than a theater piece. So
this is not a new thing in film criticism, but because I liked Tar so much, I paid attention. I read a ton of criticism, and something that was repeated over and over and over. And so when I watched it a second time, I tried to pay attention to what this really means. Is people said that the storytellers, the people who made the film, don't judge Lydia Tar at all. It's more like this happened as a result of consequences, blah, blah, blah. There's no judgment. And again, this is not a new thing. People have talked about this forever, but it's something I'm paying attention to a lot lately. And this film, there's truly no judgment. Like, no. It's just this sort of thing can happen. And if it were to happen, who do you relate to? Anyway, I'm beating a dead horse to death, but I think that's something that this film did really well.
Should we score it?
Yeah.
So this was my pick. So you have to score first.
I'm going to go with an 8.
And I'm going to go with a 9.
Sounds about right, based on the conversation.
Yeah. I honestly went to bed like thinking about it. I woke up like thinking about it. I was talking about it the following day about like, dude, this ambiguity is like I'm still like, thinking about like some of the specific scenes, you know, like just thinking about like the maid like just tying the father because she needs to go to a gynecologist. because she's afraid that she actually had lost the son. And it's like, what? Is that completely wrong? It's like, probably she should have said something, but it's like then she will lose the job. And if she loses the job, it's like she cannot pay like the money for just getting his husband out of jail.
Yeah.
It's
all very understandable.
Yep. But yeah, anything else about a separation?
That's it, I think.
So what are we watching next?
So we're going to go to a real movie theater for our next pick, and we're going to watch, is it 2023? Anyway, Sarah Polley's new film, Women Talking. The end.
Yeah, let's see.
I was just looking at what else she's directed. We know her more as an actress than a director, but
yeah, I think that she was actually in The Fabelmans, like David Lynch. So they share something in common.
I don't recognize a single thing she recommended, or sorry, she directed. But now I'll have to go see The Fabelmans just so I can see.
Let's see here. Yeah, I'm curious. Let's see what else. Sword. TV miniseries. Away from Her. Take These Walls. Stories We Tell. I haven't watched anything, so this may be amazing. This may be a train wreck. So
we'll see.
Yeah. All right. And to everyone out there listening to us, thank you so much for putting with our randomness. Like anything else.
And wash your hands.
All right. Bye.